How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man Nex here, and as promised, I've got one tasty theory for you guys today. If you hadn't already guessed it from the title or the thumbnail, this video is all about the much loved character Rhaegar Targaryen. But don't worry, this isn't one of your typical Rhaegar is still alive, pretending to be someone else theories. This is about whether Rhaegar already saved Westeros before he was killed. But to get there, we've got to go through some Targaryen ancestry, starting with the Doom of Valyria. Back in the days of Old Valyria, House Targaryen was one of the 40 ancient noble houses, known as Dragon Lords, who ruled the Valyrian freehold, a great empire spanning the majority of Essos. It's important to note, however, that the Targaryens were not one of the most powerful houses in the freehold. The family resided in Valyria until Daenerys Targaryen, also known as Daenerys the Dreamer, the daughter of Lord Rhaegar Targaryen, had visions of a cataclysm that would come to consume Valyria. Trusting the visions of his daughter, Rhaegar sold his estates in Valyria and moved his wives, children, slaves, wealth, and 5 dragons to Dragonstone, which, as we know, is an island at the entrance of Blackwater Bay. 12 years later, lo and behold, the doom descended on the city of Valyria, leading to the collapse of the freehold. The Targaryens were the only dragon riders of Valyria to survive. Why them? Out of all the Dragonlord families, why was this Daenerys gifted with a vision that enabled her to save her family? And more importantly, how did she have this vision? Was this just a miracle? I prefer to believe that she tapped into some sort of power that was unbeknown to her, and the reason why is because we know of other Targaryens who have had similar visions. Daeron Targaryen claimed to have dreams that consistently became true. Daemon Blackfyre, second of his name, likewise had prophetic dreams, including the deaths of his brothers, which again became true. And coming into the present day, we finally have Daenerys, who's experienced similar prophetic dreams, and not to mention her visions in the House of the Undying. Whether Dany was aided by the magic in the House of the Undying is hard to determine, but regardless, there was one vision in particular that was extremely powerful: the flashback of Rhaegar with his wife Elia Martell, talking about the 3 heads of the dragon. This is what happened. Aegon, what better name for a king? Will you make a song for him? He has a song. He is the prince that was promised, and his is the song of ice and fire. There must be one more. The dragon has 3 heads, as he looks at Daenerys in her own vision. Now then, there are several major things to pick up on here that are vital to the overall story of A Song of Ice and Fire. How did Rhaegar know about the prince who was promised? How did he know about the Song of Ice and Fire, and why did he think that it was his responsibility to fulfill the prophecy about the 3 heads of the dragon? Did he have this gift of prophetic dreams too? This was so important to him that he left his wife to have a 3rd child with another woman. Yes, Elia might not have been able to provide him with another child, and she might have even given Rhaegar her blessing if she too believed in the prophecy, but surely he must have known that his actions were going to spark a negative reaction from the realm. Now, something that has always rattled me about the 3 heads of the dragon prophecy is, what did Rhaegar mean by there must be one more? The dragon needs 3 heads. Because the way I think that is widely interpreted is that he's talking about his own children, Aegon, Rhaenys, and of course Jon Snow. The problem with this is that if Rhaegar truly believed his own children had to fulfill the 3 heads of the dragon prophecy, then he was doomed from the start. By having another child out of wedlock and with another man's betrothed, he essentially dug a grave for his other 2 children and his wife. That is, unless, what if Rhaegar knew all along that it wasn't his 3 children? And what if Rhaegar did have the gift of prophetic dreams, and he always knew the outcome of what was going to happen by having a child with Lyanna Stark? Let's look at a couple of things that heavily back this up. In the books, there is a huge plotline about how Rhaegar's son Aegon was swapped shortly after childbirth by Varys. This was to spare him of the horrors they knew that were coming with the wrath of Robert's rebellion, and because of course Rhaegar believed him to be the prince that was promised. So why did they just completely forget about his daughter Rhaenys? I know in the end, the Mad King wouldn't let Rhaegar's wife Elia and his children leave in order to ensure the Martell's loyalty in the war, but given what Rhaegar had planned with Lyanna, why didn't he make steps to get his wife and children out of the capital? He took greater measures with his unborn son and Lyanna by positioning the most skilled members of the Kingsguard to protect them at the Tower of Joy. You're telling me he couldn't extend this courtesy to his actual family? Now there are some rumours about whether Rhaegar's supposedly surviving son Aegon is an imposter, but there have been many attributes that back his case. His appearance, including distinctive purple eyes, the education and people surrounding him that have protected him his entire life, and how the former hand of the king to Aerys Targaryen and Rhaegar's closest friend, Jon Connington, has acted guardian to Aegon throughout. If Rhaegar had the gift of prophetic dreams and saw a vision of what the future holds regarding the Great Others and the army of the dead, was he forced into making the most difficult decision that any man could face? Either stay loyal to his family, fail to fulfill the three heads of the dragon prophecy which would condemn Westeros to suffer at the hands of the Night King and the White Walkers? Or did Rhaegar know what he was doing all along? Did he know what would happen to his family and the wars that he would start by having a relationship with Lyanna? But in doing so, he would father Jon Snow, thus fulfilling the three heads of the dragon with Jon, Daenerys and Aegon, and by making the ultimate sacrifice, it would eventually save all of Westeros. So, there you have it guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what you think A Song of Ice and Fire is. Who do you think the three heads of the dragon are, and who is the prince that was promised? If you don't want to miss any of my season 7 reactions, breakdowns, predictions or theories, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching guys. I hope you all enjoy the season 7 premiere, and I'll see you all tonight.